All right. Well, congratulations, gentlemen, for Respite.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So let me start with the easy question. Where did the original idea came from for Respite?
I think Monty could start that off. Monty kind of came up with the story to start, so.
Go for it, Monty.
Yeah, so basically, I saw a documentary on this thing, and oh my God, I couldn't finish it. I actually got wheezy watching this thing. I think it was on Frontline, if I don't recall. It was a while back, and then I just, it hit me like a ton of bricks regarding the subject matter. And then I did some research on it. I looked at some other docus. I read some articles on it. I spoke to some guys who actually, who served in Afghanistan. They were, they didn't see it themselves, but they've heard of it, and they were told to just, just look the other way. And it was an idea that I've had in my head for over a decade now.
And Gig, I'll jump in and say that that Monty's talking about, because I watched it afterwards, so Monty told me about it, was this, let's say, a practice in Afghanistan, warlords who performed this kind of sexual slavery called bachabazi. So Frontline had done a piece on it. Monty had told me about the idea. His original idea for the story was a story about a kid who was caught up once turned into one of these prostitutes, who then goes about and getting his revenge against the men that enslaved him. So that was Monty's inspiration. And so then I started doing research, and a few networks did exposés on this. So yeah, so that's it that Monty's talking about. That's where the idea came from.
So because I seen the film, so this Bachabazi is actually for real. That's a real thing. It wasn't fictionalized anyway.
Very real. Very real.
Real according to the news segments that we watched. I mean, Frontline did an expose, and a few other news networks. I mean, I'm not from Afghanistan, so I can't say for certain, but it seems like it's like a taboo practice. So I don't think it's something that happens here in the U.S. Obviously, we're fictionalizing the story.
Yeah.
But that was at least the inspiration. Just, the idea of people being able to do some sort of atrocities like this. And I think we all want to get revenge against people who do terrible things,
So how did you want to carefully craft this story without, insulting the Afghanistan culture?
Yeah, that was a huge concern of mine, a really big one. I don't see it as something that it's the work of a few bad men. And what I was trying to portray in the film is that there are bad men in every society, in every culture. Or it could be bad women too. I mean, there are bad people who do horrible things. That doesn't mean that everyone in that culture or society is evil. Obviously, clearly not. And the lens I took it is, honestly, I just see the world is so disturbed right now that I just see almost everything gray and black. And that's pretty much what I was trying to convey. So, the same way there's a bad Afghani person, there's a bad white, American person in the film. There are no good guys per se in this movie. So that's how I was trying to create balance.
Monty, when you pitched the idea, did you always have the idea that you were going to play the lead of James?
I did have that idea in mind. It was it was weird because the story I gave to Saro was totally different. It was a totally different story. It was like, I thought Afghani, they're the number one importers of heroin. My character will be a detective trying to find out these murders are drug connected, and he can steal these drugs from these people. And thankfully Saro was like, hey, no, let's do it this way, and let's, he saved the story. Let's put it that way. He actually,
Well,
he trained me in.
so part of that is, this is an indie film, and we're working on an indie budget, really tight. And so the constraints on the story were, what can we actually do with this budget?
Yeah.
So that reined in. So once we got into bigger, I knew we couldn't afford a whole police squad and drug busts, and all that stuff had to go. And we kept it a smaller story.
So, so tell me about, because this is like a indie film, could you tell me about the rest of the cast that you actually utilize for this? Because you actually had to basically find people that that looked at least Afghani for the film.
Yeah. So that was, the cast did a phenomenal job. It was pulling in favors, calling in people we know that we've worked with. People we thought that could sell the part and play the role. I think Monte had got the actor Haytham Noor, who played the role of Ahmet. I'm sorry, Amjad. Right? Yeah, you knew Haytham, right? So Monte knows a ton of actors because he's been in the business for a while. So, and then Monte also brought in Ahmet, who played the role of Khalid. So maybe Monte could speak to how he got casted for these parts.
It was more just using your actors, buddies, friends I've done theater with. I've met Ahmed, the kid who played the missing boy. I met him. We did a theater show together. Haytham was a guy I met in my very first acting job on a TV set. I met him on an NBC show that we did, and guys in the community, people that I've met, auditioning with. And I guess it's your actors Rolodex, guys that you think, they're doing their work, we're doing work. Hey, this guy might be a good fit. Of course, I had to run them through Saro, make sure Saro was, okay with that, and so on and so forth.
Monte, I guess one of the things that I was just curious about is what is your actual ethnic background? Because I noticed you play all variety type of roles, including Hispanics. So what is your background? Because I guess that's great. You could play different roles.
Yeah. Well, I'm fortunate. Yeah, I'm born and raised in this little place called Brooklyn, right? But my mom is from South America, Colombia, Bogota, Colombia, and my father's from the Middle East.
Oh, wow. Well,
yes.
Then I guess there's no excuse for anything. You could play any type of roles.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're Armenian. So how do you try to connect with this storyline?
I don't know that I connected, let's say, through my Armenian heritage necessarily, except maybe through the music, because, regionally Armenia has a lot of connections to the Middle East culturally. And so when I was working with the composer, Julian Cassia, we talked about that, and we really wanted to create music and sounds that were that came from Afghanistan and was of that region. And so that related to me, let's say, from my Armenian cultural ancestry and background.
Excellent. Alana, your camera's back on. I can't hear you.
Hey.
Oh yeah, we can't hear you, Alana.
Sorry, we have time for one more question if you'd like.
I'll just go ahead and wrap it up right now. So gentlemen, could you, we're actually talking, via Zoom right now. Could you tell us how are you staying sane and creative during times like this?
I don't know about sane, but creative. I'm overwhelming Saro with another script, and we're working together on a few projects, a TV project, a feature film project. Just trying to stay busy. That's the only way I can stay sane in these crazy times.
How about you, Saro?
Yeah, you know, it's been, so me and Monty go back way back in New York. We've worked together. I worked as a cinematographer before, and Monty as an actor, and we worked on a feature, I don't know, 10 years ago. So we've had this relationship over 10 years, and we've been working together on various projects. So this past year, you know, work was obviously so, things were shut down, and we used that time to write scripts. So we developed a pilot called Max Fitness, and we just finished another feature script that I just handed to Monty for his feedback called Fentanyl.
Wow. Excellent. Well, congratulations once again to the both of you for Respite. Can't wait to just check out more future projects from both of you.
Thank you.